Joining me now, Democratic Senator Andy Kim from New Jersey, a member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee. Senator, first, what's your reaction to Senator Mullen's nomination, and do you have any reason to believe he will not get confirmed?
Well, first, I want to say that I think there's wide agreement across America that Kristi Noem needed to get out of that job, that she needed to be fired. She is someone that has lost the trust of the American people. But I will say, having seen this and worked on the Homeland Security Committee, this is more than just Kristi Noem. This is a problem deep to the core of this Trump administration. This is about Stephen Miller pushing such a dangerous agenda on the American people. So regardless of who you have in that seat as the DHS secretary, it's Stephen Miller and Donald Trump that are running the show, and they are going to be the ones whose policies we need to look at, which is why I don't support what they're doing on immigration, and I think that that's important for the American people to see.
Well, as we just heard from him, he did say that there is an opportunity to build off things that maybe didn't quite go as planned. When you hear things like that, and having worked, I assume, or at least knowing on some level, your fellow senator, do you think that the problems, or at least some of the problems, that Democrats and, frankly, a lot of the American people saw under Kristi Noem could change?
Well, I hope some of it changes, but I'm not holding my breath for some of the things that the American people are demanding right now. I mean, remember, we had American citizens killed in the streets in Minnesota. This administration still not taking accountability for that. They are not even doing a real independent investigation into those killings. And they have been refusing to take the steps needed to be able to restore trust from the American people, which is why we're currently in a shutdown. So the fact that this administration is trying to bring forward another nominee while we're in the middle of these negotiations, that they have not shown any willingness to get to the point where we can say to the American people, you know, we have found the reforms needed to prevent other American citizens and others from being killed. So that is the environment in which this is happening. That's why I have zero trust right now in the Department of Homeland Security, but with this deeper Trump administration, which is driving this very dangerous operation going forward.
You will have an opportunity in the confirmation process to get some answers. What are your top questions for Markwayne Mullin?
Well, the top question should and be, are you going to take steps to meet what the American people are demanding? You know, getting rid of these roving patrols, reinstituting judicial warrants, the things that have shown where they have gone completely lawless in this. And it's not just on the immigration side. I mean, what Kristi Noem and the Trump administration did to gut FEMA at a time when we're worried about disaster response, certainly in New Jersey as we get closer into the hurricane season. When we see what they have done, this Trump administration, to gutting CISA, which is our cybersecurity lead. We're in a war right now with Iran, and they have cut a huge part of the staff of these experts that are protecting our country when it comes to cyber attacks from Iran and others. They have left our country more vulnerable and weaker. And Donald Trump goes and tells Time magazine yesterday, when asked if there are threats to the homeland that we should be worried about, he said that we are at war and some people might die. You know, that is not giving me confidence in this administration's priority when it comes to protecting the homeland.
Well, let's turn to the war, and I want to ask you about the scramble to get Americans out. One of your constituents, a man from Sayreville, New Jersey, who was stuck in Dubai, just managed to get back home yesterday, and he talked about the challenges he faced with all the canceled flights over there. Take a listen.
Every day was chaos. It's canceled every day. I see flights going to like Europe and elsewhere. So we're like, should we fly to Europe? Should we fly to India?
Is there anything that you're hearing about the evacuation support for Americans abroad, and has your office been getting calls?
Yeah, what I hear is chaos, and we've been getting flooded with calls. I've talked to some of these constituents out in the region myself. You know, I'm a former State Department officer. I worked at Embassy Baghdad and at Embassy Kabul. You know, I've been a part of these types of challenging situations. What we've seen from this administration is just straight up dereliction of duty. They should have given Americans prior warnings. They should have prepared for this type of inevitability because, again, this is a war of choice, and Trump chose this time to start a war. And they did it without closing the embassies and getting the staff out, especially from Embassy Baghdad. The staff, having been there before and knowing full well Iran's capabilities in Iraq, I'm really terrified about the ability for our staff to get out. And then for Americans to be told zero silence for 72 hours and then the first message being depart now. That's just sent everybody into a panic. Later on, they started up with charter flights. But where was that? Why didn't we immediately tell the American people there that we have a plan and that we're going to be working to get you out? It's clear that this administration has just been making this up as they go along. And as someone who's worked in diplomacy, worked as a State Department officer, I find this to be inexcusable.
Senator Andy Kim, it's good to have you on the program again. Thank you.
Thank you.